Indian troops in their fresh act of state terrorism martyred 3 more Kashmiri youth in Srinagar today. The trigger-happy troops martyred the youth during a coordinated search operation in Naugam area of the Srinagar. The troops sealed all entry and exit points and warned the people against venturing out of their houses. The killing of the youth led to forceful anti-India protests in the area. Several people were injured after Indian forces personnel fired tear gas shells on the protesters. The protesters shouted, "We want freedom" and "Go India, Go Back" slogans. The authorities imposed strict restrictions in the area and suspended train service from Banihal to Baramulla. Reacting sharply over the spurt and killing spree, random arrests, and other atrocities by Indian troops in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the All Parties Hurriyat Conference has appealed to the people to observe a complete shutdown on Friday, 18th March. Pertinently, the occupation forces have martyred 11 youth and destroyed over a dozen structures during violent coordinated search operations across the occupied territory since Thursday. Senior APHC leadership in a statement issued in Srinagar today said the Indian forces are engaged in systematic genocide of Kashmiris, paying rich tributes to the youth martyred during recent acts of Indian state terrorism. The statement said the day is not far when blood of martyrs will bear fruit. APHC leadership appealed to the United Nations, OIC, and international human rights watchdogs to take serious cognizance of the Indian state terrorism in the occupied territory and make India to fulfill her international commitments vis-a-vis Kashmir imbroglio. The incarcerated senior All Parties Hurriyat Conference leader Mirwais Umar Farooq, in a statement in Srinagar, strongly condemned the slapping of Draconian Law Public Safety Act on noted journalist Fahad Shah by the Indian authorities. He deplored that the Kashmiri journalists were threatened and slapped with black laws for reporting facts or being critical of the Modi-led fascist Indian regime's brutalities in occupied territory. The Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front chief spokesman Mohammad Rafiq Dar has said that destroying the centuries-old brotherhood between the Muslim majority and the non-Muslim minorities of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir has always been the goal of the Indian government and the people working at its payroll. PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti in a tweet said the aggressive manner in which the Modi-led Indian regime is promoting the Kashmir Files film and weaponizing the pain of Kashmiri Pandits makes its ill intention obvious. She deplored that instead of healing old wounds and creating a conducive atmosphere between the Muslim and Pandit communities, New Delhi is deliberately tearing them apart. National Conference member of Indian Parliament Hasnain Masoodi, taking part in the discussion on the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir budget presented by the Indian Finance Minister in the Parliament, said the spur in the killings of political activists does not give credence to the Modi government's normalcy claims. The president of All India Majlis Ittihadul Muslimin, Asaduddin Owaisi, on the occasion asked how Indian Parliament can pass the budget on Jammu and Kashmir. He said that the problems in the occupied territory have aggravated after the abrogation of Article 370. Speakers at a webinar hosted by Kashmir Institute of International Relations in collaboration with the World Muslim Congress voiced grave concern over the criminalization of dissent by Modi's racist regime in occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The All India Muslim Personal Law Board has expressed regret and disappointment on the ruling by the High Court of the Indian state of Karnataka upholding the ban on wearing of headscarf or hijab by Muslim students in educational institutions. The Board General Secretary Maulana Khalid Saifullah Rahmani told reporters that the board will be holding an online meeting soon to discuss the way forward on the issue. Senior Hurriyat leader Aga Saeed Hassan al-Moswi al-Safi termed the judgment of Karnataka High Court on hijab as an attempt to marginalize Islam.